Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Eugene. I'm glad you were able to join us. Today's meditation, I'm going to invite all of us to come back to ourselves. It is a common experience for many to live outside their bodies, to be busy in the world doing, and it's important to remember to come back to ourselves, come back to our center. So during today's meditation, I invite you to participate in whatever level feels comfortable. This is not something that you have to follow exactly, but it's an invitation to keep coming back to oneself and coming back to oneself in a way that feels caring, in a way that feels compassionate. So to begin, I invite you to begin by noticing your breath, noticing the natural in and out. And for right now, just noticing exactly what is. And as you breathe in, think in. And as you breathe out, think out. And let's just stay here for a moment or two. In and out. In and out. In and out. In and out. And over your next 3 breath cycles of in and out, I invite you to breathe in a little more deeply. And as you breathe out, try to exhale slightly longer than your inhale. So breathe in, for example, 3 seconds. And breathe out for 5. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, slightly longer on your exhale. And one more cycle that feels comfortable to you. And when you're ready, just return to your natural rhythm of breathing. In and out. In and out. We're now going to begin to just take a survey of what is happening in our bodies at this moment. There's nothing that is good or bad, right or wrong. There simply is exactly what is happening. It's part of being present to this now moment. So beginning at the top of the head, just noticing any sensations you might have. We can notice temperature. Notice, does our body feel still? Or does it have some kind of energy moving? We'll notice if there feels tightness in any area, and notice where we feel relaxed. As we continue to bring our awareness down through our eyes and our cheeks. Again, I offer suggestions, but move at a pace that feels right for you. It may be slower or faster. If there's a certain part of your body that is calling to you, bring your breath and focus to that part of your body. And again, just be with what is. Noticing what's happening through your neck and shoulders. Can you sense your back? Your upper back and your lower back? Bringing your energy through to your lungs and your heart. Bring your energy through to the front side of your torso. Just noticing. And if your attention wanders to something outside of your body, and again, if it feels safe and comfortable to bring your awareness back, I invite you to keep coming back to yourself. Continuing to scan down through your hips, your pelvic area, your glutes, the top part of your legs, the back part, what do you notice in your knees? Down through your shins and your calves. Bringing your awareness down through your ankles. See if you can notice your heels touching the surface of where they are, the floor. How about the bottom of your feet? Are you able to notice the sensation of your feet touching the floor? And how about your toes? Maybe even wiggle your toes to bring a little bit of aliveness to them. And again, if it feels comfortable and compassionate, I invite you to focus your energy down through your feet and imagine yourself grounding, connecting more solidly to the floor, feeling that stability. And then when you are ready, when you feel comfortable, I invite you to breathe your awareness back up into your diaphragm. You might even place your hand there to help bring attention to this area. And just breathe into this area, into your center with a little more attention, a little more focus. It may be helpful to focus on your in breath and your out breath, noticing the natural rise and fall of your belly. Just take a moment to notice, what does it feel like to be connected, to be in your body? And recognizing sometimes this doesn't feel good. Sometimes it doesn't feel safe. So just notice what is true for you right now in this moment. Breathing love and compassion into your body for exactly what is. And if it by chance doesn't feel safe, then please allow yourself to move your attention to wherever it does feel safe and compassionate. And no matter where you are focusing, continue to breathe, gently releasing any other ideas or thoughts. Not with force, just with gentle kindness. And coming back to yourself as much as you are able. Coming back to the breath. Gently releasing thoughts and ideas. Because from this place of connectedness, this place of centering, we can connect more easily with the truth of who we are. The divine truth, the divine energy that is in us, as us, through us. From this place, we can discern what is in our highest good. We can eliminate distractions and connect with our highest self. I now invite everyone to take a moment to breathe in one deep breath, as deep as feels comfortable. And as you exhale, exhaling with a sigh, releasing as much of the oxygen as you can. And just gently breathing, bringing your awareness back into your space. If it feels right to wiggle your toes and your fingers, maybe move your body gently. Maybe a big stretch and a yawn. Trust yourself, trust your body. What is it asking for right now? And one last grounding technique. I invite you to look around the space that you're in and acknowledge the first 3 green things that you can find. And just name them to yourself. What are the first 3 green things that you see in your environment? Again, thank you for joining us as we prepare to listen to the talk from Reverend Trish. Blessings. Namaste.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Angela, for that wonderful meditation. I love it when Angela does meditations. It just gets all the way to my soul. Thank you again. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Eugene. It's a lovely Oregon rainy day, which we need desperately. My name is John Hicks, and I will be your presider for the day. I'll sort of be directing traffic, so to speak. We are a welcoming and inclusive spiritual community that embraces many paths to God or Spirit. Wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you're welcome here. That's one of the things that drew me to this place. I actually had a business once that we stole that part of it for our logo and our business motto. Wherever you are in your journey, you're welcome here. And CSL has been a welcoming place for me for probably 17 years now. We inspire minds, open hearts, and empower lives using the teachings of the science of mind, because we know that spiritually empowered people live richer, fuller lives. I know that for a fact. These teachings has changed my life entirely since I really got into it and took them to heart. At Center for Spiritual Living in the International, they have put out a global vision of what Centers for Spiritual Living is and kind of what we believe. The one we're going to talk about today is: we envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. A world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. That's a lot of words, but it just means that we are all one. We are one with everything in the universe. We are part of God or Spirit. We are what God or Spirit experiences as our life. It's a nice thing to do to realize that that connectedness with everything, with nature, with the floor you walk on, with the chair you sit in, with everything. It means a lot, and if we practice it, we can change the world. I'm going to be bringing back Angela for the treatment for the service today, and hopefully she'll be coming up fairly soon. There we go. Hi, Angela. Well, we apologize for the little technical glitch. We didn't hear Angela's treatment, but I'm sure it was perfect for today and for what we're about to hear and see. Now we have at CSL, we do an affirmation every month. It's something that we do every week. And I encourage you, once I read through this affirmation, to read it yourselves aloud. When you speak words, it gives more power to those words. And hopefully you can take these words throughout the week and remember them and think them, the more we as a group think these things, the more power it has in the world and in the universe. So if we can bring up the affirmation. Oops. I just lost it. Okay. I just lost the feed to the to the affirmation for today. Hang on just a second. Nope, I do not have it out here. Give me a second or two. Another technical difficulty.
The more I awaken to and welcome the presence of spirit in my life, the more I step into my power and freedom. God and I are one. And now, if you can all say it aloud wherever you are, the more I awaken to and welcome the presence of spirit in my life, the more I step into my power and freedom. God and I are one.
Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate jumping in there and helping out with that. Where would we be without the tech team? Now we're going to bring in our first musical interlude by Beth Green. Hopefully she will be coming up soon.
Hello, my name is Beth Green, and I am very happy to be with you again.
Thank you, Beth. We appreciate your beautiful, beautiful music. Now we have a message from Reverend Trish Mackey. She's going to be talking to us about stepping out and stepping up, which I think we all need to do. Trish, it's all yours.
Thank you, John. And good morning, everyone. How are you today? Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Oregon. You know, it's such a wonderful place to live. And for those, I know many of you have wanted to live here, and for one reason or another, it hasn't worked out. But you know, if it's supposed to be, it will be. But please plan on coming to visit us at some time when we are open and welcoming all of you here. The theme for this month has been about stepping into the unknown. And, you know, we do that all the time without actually knowing that we're doing it. Every time we make a decision to try something new, it's an unknown thing for us. We haven't done it before. It might be that it's been something that has been building in our heart and in our mind, maybe over years, or maybe just in a short time by seeing something that triggers us. But we don't often do that. A lot of times when you're in this teaching and they're talking about it, or you're learning about it, what it says is it's just as easy and simple as saying something we've heard many times is that change your thinking, change your life. And you know, that can sound, nothing sounds easier than saying that, and yet nothing can be more frightening. Really? Frightening. Why? Well, it's frightening for those who have never done it. But for those who have discovered the way to change their thinking, who have seen the result from doing so, it is easy. It's very easy. It's simplistic. But for those of us who have not discovered how to do that, how to get into the easiness of how do I change my thinking and will it work and all of the doubt, I think nothing can be more frightening. Having been a minister for 24 years, I've realized over the time that sometimes throwing those little sayings out there about changing your mind, changing your thinking, doing things differently is not comfortable. It's just not, because we have not had a lot of known experiences. We've done it, but we've never actually accredited that by that doing something as being something that has been exactly that. We have changed our thinking about where we want to live and who we want to be with and what we want to do as careers and how long do we want to stay in what we're doing and how long does it serve us. It really comes down to us recognizing the journey begins with our willingness to risk stepping out into the unknown. To step away from all that's familiar, to step away from the comfort zone, to change our life from being on automatic to shifting it back to manual. I remember when I first learned to drive a car, there were really many more manual shift cars than there were automatics. And I always wanted to learn on a manual because I always felt like I had more control if I was doing the shifting, if I was in the one making things happen rather than sitting back and kind of waiting for things to happen or watching for things to happen and not even sure if I saw it happen. It's like all of a sudden it's like, what happened? Because I know we say that a lot in our lives when things show up unexpected. What just happened? I never saw that coming. So I think that when we learn to step away from our comfort zone and to step into being the you have come here to be. We have so many people who have spoken wonderful words of wisdom, and we repeat them and we hear them, and they last for a long time. We actually take sayings and attach them to people because they resonate with us. They have hit us in a place where we need to hear it. We're ready to hear it. It excites us. It scares the heck out of us. It makes us jump up and down for an adventure. And at the same time, it's like, oh, no, I'm not ready for this. This is more than I can handle. Maybe my window of opportunity has already gone by. But Marianne Williams says, we begin by asking questions, and we ask those questions of ourselves. We ask ourselves, what do we need to do to prepare for this journey, for this trip into the unknown? Good question, huh? What do we need to do or prepare for the journey, for this trip? That in itself makes me excited, because although I'm a risk taker at some times, and at other times I'm a risk taker shaking. And I know that it's okay to do that. I know it's okay to stop and hesitate, take a breath, and decide how I'm feeling about things. Do I really want to do this? And which is it going to win? The risk or the excitement? The gain and the reward? Or maybe the reward is finding out I don't want to do this. I'm not ready to do this. It's not that important to me anymore. This is one of the questions is that what will we bring with us? So when we go on a trip, excuse me, we pack our clothes for the climate, for the excitement of the things we're going to do when we're on this trip. But what about packing in the suitcase along with your clothes and your shoes is to put in your attitude, to pack up the joy that you're going to have to be with your friends, the excitement of seeing a loved one, of sitting down and touching them and putting your arms around them and sharing adventures and sharing events. What about going with an open heart? With an open heart to see what you're going to learn and to experience and to add to your memories of your life. And as we're adding all these wonderful things in for our joy and our excitement and our courage for getting on the plane and getting there and all of the planning and all we had to do that, is to also leave behind some things. Leave behind anxiety, leave behind past memories that have not been so gracious. Come to it as an empty slate. Be willing to let go of all of the past experiences, of all of this is what happened when. You know, the past is an interesting thing, and I think it's valuable. It has its value, and I think that it's a great place to visit. Go back and look at it and see what it was, but remember that that was then and this is now. And who you were then and what you thought then and how you would react then is not who you would be and react in the same way now. So there's nothing you can do to go back and change it. So why don't we bless it and say, thank you. Thank you. It shows me how far I have come, how far I've stepped away from what I was to becoming the very thing that I am here to be growing, to be loving, to be a bigger expression of myself. You know, one of the questions that I have looked at over the years and taught my students is to always ask yourself, do like a spring checkup. Just like we go in for our physicals every 6 months, or we go to the dentist and that. What about asking ourselves about ourselves? About asking ourselves, if I was living my life fully living it, what would I be doing right now? What would I be doing right now? Not what I have always done, what I think I should do, but what would I be doing? Part 2 of that question. And maybe not a question, but an addendum to it. When I got my answer of, if I was living my life fully, what would I be doing with that answer? Then do it. Do it. It's not enough to think about it. It's not enough to sit down and think, because it's a lot like a little comment that I remember hearing years ago. And it said, it's like being in a foot race around a track, and everybody's all posed and got their, they're down squatted and they've got their toes, and they're just waiting for the gun to be shot off so that they can start. And here's the referee going, okay, ready, set, set, set. And of course, we know what happens with that. That's what we do. We set and sit is only a matter of 1 letter difference. From E to set to sit, the I. So you have to take the action. You've got to do the go. You've got to do the go. And that's where it gets kind of scary, because at that point, what we're saying is that you've got to step up. You got to step out, because nothing's going to change unless you do. Each of us has been put here for a certain particular purpose and reason, and we have a unique part to play, not only in our growing ourselves, but what do we do with what we find out about our gifts and our talents and our abilities? We are partly here to help heal the rest of the world. And we do that by being and sharing that which we already are. But if you don't know that's who you are, then you don't know where to start, and you pull back. You set, and you sit, and you sit. Now's the time. Now is the time for us to step away from and to be willing to find out who we are. There's certain things in our life that we have learned over the years that we have control over, and other things we have no control over. And of course, we've just gone through an experience that we really felt like all control was taken away from us, because there were so many restrictions, and all of it was so fear-based. And yet, at the same time, it was given in the intention of protecting us, to keeping us healthy. And what we did and how we reacted to that was what we were learning as the gift within it. My Facebook is such a wonderful source of information sometimes. Came across, and it said, if you after a year in going through this pandemic, have either not learned a new skill, taken up a new hobby, learned a new skill, written a book, all the things you've always said you wanted to do, then it really wasn't that you didn't have the time to do it. It was because the desire to do it wasn't that strong. whoa, I had to take that one into consideration. I went, okay, now I know why. I knew what I was going to do. Boy, I have all this time and this is what's going to be accomplished. And I decided when I read that, one is that I did none of it and decided I really didn't want to do it. And the other two I'm still vacillating with, but one of them, it's like, yes, I'm going to do it. And tomorrow's going to do it. And that tomorrow was about 3 weeks ago. I'm set. I'm set. I'm ready. I'm just not to the go part. Okay. So now that I've said that publicly, I know that I'm going to get some feedback from my friends and my family who are going to say, well, they're going to call me on it. And you know what? That's okay. I'm happy to let you do that. We have changes in our lives all the time. Change is the normal order of the universe because it's a living world we're on. And the action of the law never changes. It always works the same. But the direction that the action takes is up to us. It's our choice to do it or not do it, to take it and evaluate. Is this still important for me to learn? You know what? I've missed the window. It's like it was then and it wasn't then. I told my friends one time that there were 3 things that I had that I always wanted to do. And I said, now I've decided that two I still want to do. One I decided I didn't want to do anymore. And I said one was to learn how to flamenco dance. Now this is a number of years ago. I was probably, in my 20s at that point. To flamenco dance, to whistle with my fingers in my mouth, and to speak like Donald Duck. So, yeah, I had arrested development, was a late bloomer as a child. So, and so as the years go by, and when I said was, well, but then I decided one of them wasn't important. And so, of course, my friend said, well, which one was that? And I said, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. You figure it out. You figure it out. And so everybody guessed one of the 3. And I never did tell them because I think that it was more as I said it, I realized it. I didn't know that kind of before I said that out loud. And so consequently, I think I'm down to, I still can't whistle with my fingers in my mouth, and I'm still not able to talk like Donald Duck, but I have had a couple of friends during the years when I've said that have been willing to try to teach me. So the other day, a friend of mine sent me a thing about how to whistle with your fingers in your mouth. So I think that's going to be my new go. I'm going to step out and give this a try and see if it's still important to me. And if it is, I will continue with learning it. And if it's not, it's okay for me to walk away from it. The direction of our actions, as I said, is always up to us. What are we choosing to do? When we learn that we are part of something bigger than ourselves, that we're not separate from, but an integral part of the creative power process of thought. Because everything starts with a thought. Every idea has come with a thought. Nothing just puffs and it shows up. Oh, look, over here, poof. No, it's an action, it's a desire, it's a willingness, it's a thinking, it's opening ourselves up to being more than we say we are, more than we think we are. Now, those are nice words to say, but how do we learn these things? How do we learn that there's more to life than what we are maybe perhaps experiencing in it now? How do we learn that? Well, same way you learn anything. You'll learn by practice. You start out and you look at things differently. You look at the way you perform daily in the things that you do when you're not really conscious that you're doing them or how you do them. but you're there. You were there. You get up in the morning and habitually the habits, one after another after another. What if you chose tomorrow morning to get up and the way you do things normally, you switched it around? You switched around. You did all those things, but you didn't do them in the same order. What if the first thing you did, you stayed doing the first thing? The third thing you did became the second thing. Maybe the fourth thing became the third thing. So have fun with it. Have fun with it. You know, nothing's funnier than we are as human beings. I think we're the most interesting species, and why they don't just study us all the time instead of ants and trees and stuff. I mean, I think we are, I think we are the part of God that is humor, the part of God that is feeling, the part of God that is the funniest joy. I know that I can entertain myself better than anybody else I know. And so how do we learn these things? Again, exactly the way you learn anything. You practice, you try it. What's going to happen if you try? And you remain aware of what's going on when you do something different. And then you watch how things change in your life, and then you practice more and more. You know, life is meant to be fun. It wasn't meant to be hard. It wasn't meant to be hard. And if things, as one of the lines in the movie, The Marigold Hotel, long time ago in India, the fellow that was running it, he said, everything will be all right in the end. And if it's not all right, it's not the end. And I love that. And I have that posted on my refrigerator because it's so true. I want to share a quote from Ernest Holmes, the founder of our teaching, Science of Mind. And he's just, the books are wonderful that he has written. The textbook is pretty deep, but when they pull out the gems, there are so many diamonds in it. When you hear them separately, it's like, wow, you get overwhelmed and your heart just fills with all that he says. And this one I particularly liked. It says, the greatest gift life could have made to you is yourself. You are a spontaneous, self-choosing center in the great drama of being, the great joy of becoming, the certainty of external expansion. Life has given us this wonderful thing. It's made us spontaneous. It's made us be able to change our mind and think, oh, wow, all of a sudden I want to do this, and you act on it. Where other times you'll say, I want to do this. Let me think about it. But being spontaneous is living in the moment. And we can choose how we spend our time. We're self-choosing. We are self-choosing. How do I want to feel today? What do I want to eat today? Who do I want to spend my time with today? And I can do that all the time. Today, this moment, the following moment, every moment I have that choice. And as I'm doing that, as I am living the gift that life has given me, then I become more of it. I become more filled. I have more to share with others of what I've learned and who I am and how I got there even. He is one of my favorite authors, as you probably can already tell. Like I said, I've been in this teaching a long time and been a minister a lot longer than I've been a minister even. And what I have found that life, although it was good before I knew this teaching, it got a heck of a lot better. after I learned it. A heck of a lot better. It got easier. It got more fun. It was not so unknown. It was not so unknown. So by stepping up and learning this, I just expanded and sort of like, gave extra food to plants. It gave extra food to me. It stimulated me in a way that I hadn't known before even existed. And of course that, passed on to my children as they see their mother changing and they want to know why, Yeah. Since everything that goes on is mind. Mind is all we are. And the only activity of mind is thoughts. The only way we can stimulate it is that we put a thought into mind. And the only thing you get out of mind is what you first thought into it. Everything is mind. And the only activity, the only thing that makes mind start to stimulate, to like putting fizz water in a drink, the only thing that stimulates it is thought. And the only thing that mind gives back to you is what you thought into it. So I said earlier that there are some things we have no control over. And usually that's temporary, but there are other things we do have control over. And we always have control over what we think. And so what we get back, what our life experiences are really an outpicturing of what we're thinking inside, what our thoughts have been. How wonderful to know that. Because I always know how well I'm doing by what's happening in my life, what experiences are there. When we stop trying to deny the nature of the universe and the way that the mind works, it is always good for us. It is always saying yes to us. It is for us, not against us. We don't get punished. We only receive back the result of the thought that we've been thinking, the ideas we've been holding on to. And tomorrow is going to be treating us exactly the same way it treats us today. It does not going to be different. It is always going to be the same. It is for us. It is for our good. It's for our highest good. And as we speak our thoughts into it, as we think them, as we act them, as we, take action or don't take action, we're going to get back the results. That's all. But it lets us know. It's like taking your temperature with a thermometer. Do I have a fever? Well, let me find out. Well, this is a way of finding out where you are. The sooner we get away from the thought that we have to create things, the sooner we'll be able to work in line with the spirit. It isn't us to do. We by ourselves cannot create anything. None of us can create a rose flower. We can help it grow. We can plant it, but we can't grow it. The sooner we are able to work in line with spirit, spirit knows what it's doing. That rose bush, that rose seed knows exactly that it's supposed to be a rose. It's not a daisy when it comes up. So we are always using that energy. We are always using that universal mind because we never create anything. We do not have the ability. We co-create by starting with the thought, and then what shows up is the mind takes it in and gives it back to us, and then we go ahead and adjust. This may have been a lot for you to hear today, and I know that as I've been sharing with you and thinking about what I had written and, to share with you, I see that there have been a lot of things that I didn't know until I heard them out of my mouth to share with you. So know that we are on this path together and it's all going well. So I want to close now and just share a couple of things with you. So here we are. I've shared with you that everything we need to create is to step up and to step into the great vision of our life purpose. Vision of our life purpose. I have this sign on my desk that I brought to show you, because every time I sit at the computer, I see it, and it just kind of reminds me that life isn't hard unless I believe it will be. And it's a sign, and I don't, let's see, I hope you can see that. Okay. All right. And so now that I'm showing it to you, I don't have it written down, but I'm going to just step over here. It says, once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. Once you become fearless and realize that you are not having to create all of these things. How is it going to happen? What's going to happen? Who do I talk to? But when you're clear, once you become fearless and are willing to step up into the purpose of who you are, life becomes limitless because it keeps giving you all of the result of your thoughts. So once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. So I see this all the time when I sit at my computer, and it's just a reminder. And I'm closing now with the words for, again, another quote by Ernest Hall. He says, we must climb over the rocks of unbelief, pass around the barriers of doubt, and plunge into the stream with faith. I'll meet you there. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Reverend Trish. Thank you so much. Now, you don't live that far from me, so I'll be listening for the whistle.
Okay.
I have never been able to learn how to do that either. Right now, we're going to bring back Angela Alcantar. She is going to do the blessing of our offering. During that time, we're going to show a slide that has all the different ways that you can give to this center, so that it can continue enriching your life, enriching my life. You can, if there's something on there that you don't quite get, call us or email us at the office. You can call us Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I believe, 10 to 4. We can tell you all the different ways. One of the ways that I contribute, probably more than I should, I shop on Amazon. And on Amazon Smile, you can pick the Center for Spiritual Living Eugene as the charity that Amazon will give to. And we actually get a significant amount of money from Amazon every quarter from people like me that shop on Amazon more than they should. Anyway, if we can bring up Angela, she will bless this offering.
All right. Hopefully the volume is working this time. I actually made a mistake during the opening prayer. What I invite each of you to do is to bring your hand to your heart. I invite this, if this feels right, and breathe in the energy of abundance and prosperity. Breathe into your heart space, love and expansion. Feel the flow of giving and receiving, because it is all energy. No amount is too big or too small, because in the mind of God, there is no distinction. So knowing that as I give today, I do what is mine to do, I give willingly and joyfully, and I know that the value of this energy is just as powerful as any other expression. So with joy, with love, with appreciation, I share my gift, and so it is.
As many of you know, I only improvise. I never have a plan when I sit down to play the piano. And that's what it feels like to step into the unknown, having that faith, having that trust, and being willing to improvise our lives because we are always in new territory. I hope that you enjoyed this.
Thank you so much, Beth. That was just beautiful, soul-reaching music. We appreciate you every time that we are able to listen to it. We have the best part of the broadcast now, announcements. Ta-da! After service, you can hang out with us on Zoom. Now, I've been doing this for a few weeks lately, and there's only been 5 or 6 of us that regularly show up. I'm talking more about Zoom to give you time to get your pen and pencil and some paper handy to write down the Zoom ID and the password. Those are the same every week. If you can write them down on a Post-it and stick them on the screen of your computer, you can join us every week. And we know that more than 6 of us are still around and listening. Next up, there we go. Mondays at 2 p.m., Sean Ferguson has integrative yoga. That is something that I have not been able to do as often as I would like, but I have done it a couple of times. It is a very in-depth yoga that has to do with all of the chakras. And I'm not sure exactly where on the list of chakras that they are right now, but it's not something that's horribly physical. You can do it from a chair, you could do it from a yoga mat, you can do it any way that's comfortable for you, and it's an awesome thing to take part in. If you can check the newsletter for the link, you'll actually be emailing the office, and they will send you back another link to the actual yoga presentation at 2 p.m. on Monday. On Thursdays, Angela Alcantar has a morning forgiveness meditation. I kind of like that, starting out the day between 7:30 and 8 a.m., forgiving people and things before you start the day. That's also in the newsletter. Saturday is the Joy of Creating, also with Angela. This is May 1st between 9 and 10:30 in the morning. It's a Zoom meeting, and the registration link is also in the newsletter. If you don't get the newsletter, contact the office and give us an email that we can send that newsletter to, because there's a lot of links in there that you need to participate. Virtual game night, May 14th between 5:30 and 7 p.m. Kathy Day is hosting a virtual game night. Again, this was one that I haven't done yet, but I plan on doing it soon. The link for that also is going to be in the newsletter. And Beloved Connections, the Women's Retreat, June 4th through the 6th. That's going to be an online women's retreat, and it's the registration is obviously still open. It's going to be a joint women's retreat between Christy Snow's center in North Carolina and our center. And having Christy Snow be a host for that is just going to be awesome. Sometimes I wish I could be a woman when I could do something like that. Anyway, thank you all for being here and listening to me. This is my first time trying to do this from a podium, and I promise I'll get better. Namaste to all of you, and we'll see you next week.